Hey friends, and welcome back to Kitchen Table Talk. My name is Wendy with Inspire Ministries, and I am glad that you are here today. I want to share with you something that I read today, and I wanted to bring this word to you because I feel like it is timely. I feel like, whenever I experience something in my quiet time with Jesus, I want to share it. And there are some mornings that I am actually drawn to tears when I read the scriptures. And this morning is one of those times. We have just gone through a devastating season as a country. And not just having been through it, I feel like we are still in the midst of turmoil and distress. And with that comes a lot of anxiety. I talk with a lot of people throughout my week that talk about being filled with a lot of anxiety, a lot of dread, a lot of just sadness, a lot of tears being shed in this season. And it's hard. It's hard for us as believers sometimes to hang on to hope. And yet, in the middle of my quiet time today, I was studying something completely different. And in the middle of my quiet time today, I ran across something in Mark chapter 13 that I want to share with you, and then I want to connect it to something else in Revelation. This is one of those times where if you have been with me for any length of time, you've been here at Inspire Ministries, or you've been a part of like my ministry, or you've seen stuff that I've done on YouTube, I am always talking about reading until you hear his voice. Reading until you are impacted so greatly by something it is that you've read that you know you can't even leave there, that you have to dwell in that for a while. You have to stay in that for a little while. And that is exactly what happened to me today. Again, I was kind of in something completely different. I was preparing for a Bible study that I have coming up tonight. And so I was in something completely different. When I came across this, I knew it was his voice speaking to me. I knew it was something that I needed to read over and over and over again, that I needed to possibly memorize and really get into my spirit, especially as it relates to this time period that we are living in as a country. So in Mark chapter 13, I want to read to you out of the New Living Translation, verses 34 through 37. It says this. Now the title for this section in my Bible says, Watch for the Master's Return. And it says this, it's red letter, and so it's Jesus talking, and he says this: The coming of the Son of Man can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. When he left home, he gave each of his slaves instructions about the work they were to do, and he told the gatekeeper to watch for his return. You too must keep watch, for you don't know when the master of the household will return, in the evening, at midnight, before dawn, or at daybreak. Don't let him find you sleeping when he arrives without warning. I say to you what I say to everyone: watch for him. Watch for him. Friends, I read that this morning and I was just captivated. Certainly, this is not the first time that I've ever read this story. I've read the Gospels all the way through from beginning to end many times, as I do throughout the different years of my life. But there was something in this today that I felt like was so powerful. Jesus says that we will not know when the Master is returning. We cannot know when he is coming back, but we are to watch for his return. That's our instruction. Watch for his return. He says it twice. Keep watch. In that same sentence in verse 34, he says it twice. Watch for his return. You too must keep watch, he says. Keep watch. And then the very last line, he says, I say to you what I say to everyone, watch for him. So I started to think about that. What are the ways that we can watch for Jesus? What are the ways that we can be on the lookout for what he is doing, for what he is saying, for where we see him doing the work that he still is doing in this place. It got me thinking about just all of the things that we can be doing as believers in our daily life for being on the watch for Jesus, being on the lookout. You know, so often it is our bent, like our natural bent, to see all of the dysfunction in the world, to see all of the things going wrong in the world, to name off all of the things that are a mess right now or aren't going right, or things that are just in uproar right now, right? Just things that aren't going our way, things that we would like to see look a different way. But Jesus is still working. He is still working, friends. And so I encourage you to look out into your world today and find the goodness of the Lord. Find him in the sunrise. Find him in the sunset. Find him in the faces of your children. Find him in those conversations that you have with your friends. Find him out in nature. Find him as you're doing laundry in your day, just thanking God for the ability to have working appliances, and thanking God to have a family that you can love, that you have to do laundry for. Seeing him in the goodness of the food that we're able to provide for our family, in the car that we're able to have that gets us from place to place. Thank him and be so excited for the places that he is showing up in your quiet time in his word every single day. Be on the lookout for what he is doing. Be on the lookout for where it is that you still see Jesus doing his work. We do not want to be like those ones he warns us about in these scriptures who was sleeping. I think about Jesus at the end of his life and right at the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was getting ready to go to his final walk and go into death, he said to his disciples, he looked them in the eye and he said, "Will you do me a favor? Will you pray and will you keep watch?" And those band of brothers couldn't do that. He said, "All I need you to do," and he didn't just say it once, he didn't just say it twice, he said it 3 different times. He's like, "I need you to stand guard, to watch, and to pray." And what he found is that all 3 of those instances, his disciples were sleeping. And so that is a great analogy for you and I to see that we cannot be found sleeping, that we have to be found on our guard post, that we have to be on that watchtower looking for all of the ways that we see God working in the universe, all the ways that we see that he is still healing, all the ways that we see him still answering prayer, all the ways that we still see him showing up in our circumstances. Where is he? Where is he? Are we keeping our guard? Are we watching for Jesus, waiting for his return? I thought about Revelation chapter 2. I want to read to you verses 24 through 26. It says this, and again, this is the red letter. This is Jesus talking. He said, I also have a messenger for the rest of you who have followed in this false teaching. And it goes on to explain that what is meant by the false teaching is deeper truths, as they call them, depths of Satan, actually. He says, I will ask nothing more of you except that you hold tightly to what you have until I come. To all who are victorious, who obey me to the very end. I love the Message translation. The Message translation says, hold on to the truth until I get there. Hold tightly to what you know until I come. Listen, he is coming back, friends. You and I have to be found loving him and seeking him out and searching for him and spreading the gospel message and loving other people and pointing others to Jesus. That is the way that you and I are to be found. We are not to be found sleeping. We are not to be found forgetting all the glorious things that he does for us, has done for us, and still wants to do for us. And so I encourage you, if you are a believer, you are charged with watching for his return and then anxiously holding on to the truth until he comes back. Because friends, he is coming back. How will you be found? Will you be found pointing to Jesus with your life, saying he has done this and he has done this and he is doing this and he is getting ready to do this? That's how I want to be found, friends. So I encourage you, think about watching for Jesus, looking for the ways that you are still seeing his glory work on the earth today, praising him every single day of your life, and then remembering and holding tightly to that truth until he returns. Friends, I pray that you are encouraged to start anew today. I love you, friends. I thank you for being here with me today, and I pray that you have an awesome day with Jesus. Bye-bye, friends.